Welcome, friends, to the Soul Talk podcast, a show where we explore and uncover the path to the heart, amplifying your conscience. Join me as we meet incredible souls who are in this journey and learn from their experience and different methods that will make you vibrate your heart. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. This is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and thank you for being here in Soul Talk. And today we want to introduce Daniel John Hanneman, and he's a creator of energy scanning training and intuitive business coach. And he's going to let us know a little bit about something that he do, and that is very, very transformative for all of us. So we're going to ask him more about his certifications and who he is and how he got here and what it is, what he's doing that is so fascinating. Daniel, thank you so much for being in Soul Talk. I really, really appreciate it. And let us know how do you got here? What is the certifications that you have? And tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Monica, for having me. I'm super grateful. And yeah, how did I get here? That's always a good question. How did I get here in this now moment? So yeah, for me, I always talk about the sense of awkwardness being in this dimension, right? Like just awkwardness as a child, and feeling a lot of connection and love, but feeling really disoriented by my sensitivity to energy, also my sensitivity to probably rejection, my sensitivity to um, just like things, anything unlike love, especially early in my life. Um, and so I really just found myself like filled with love, and also, I wanted to be very enthusiastic. I wanted to be more joyful, but I found like when I got more like joyful, that people kind of looked at me weird because I would show it a lot, right? So anyway, my path has been like one for like many people, where you have, all this energy and you have all these gifts, these abilities to tap into energy, perceive things. I perceived a being that was following me back home from church one day, for example. My church was right across the street from me. It was little things. It wasn't a lot early in my life at all, but there was things going on, the ability to predict things, to be intuitive, psychic, and all that sort of thing. I never would have thought of it that way back then. I was just like, I don't know, I just know this or I just know that, right? It was just that sort of thing. And just also having a feeling like I could tap into not only what I call that infinite intelligence, where you can know things, but also infinite power. And I had just that sense as a young teenage boy, for example, that I could, do whatever I wanted to do. I could just decide I was going to wrestle someone down or throw them up across a snowbank or something, or whatever what kids do, or lift a weight or whatever it was. And the only reason why that matters is I just had that sense of that connection to the infinite, that I knew there's something flowing through me that I could access. So that much I was aware of, but I didn't know what that was. I just used to call, I have this power. And I just used to call it that when I was younger. I didn't use it that much, but when I wanted to call upon it, I could. But yeah, it's very awkward. I was depressed. I had a lot of anxiety, as I became a teenager, because I didn't want to be in school. I didn't want to be down that track. I wanted to be somewhere else. I wanted to be a grown up. I wanted to not even do the teenage thing at all. So but I rebelled. I did mischief like teenagers do, and all the usual stuff. But yeah, throw in a little bit of vandalism or whatever, like, believe it or not, like I did different things. So, but anyway, I was just trying to find my way. I got into ultimately some psychiatric help because I was so depressed. Told them about these abilities. I thought I can move objects. I know it. I could blow up objects, and I got some interesting diagnoses, and I learned right away that you don't talk about these things. So, and anyway, so I kept trying to work through it on my own a lot through journaling and creative writing, and then I got into psychology in college. Eventually, I went into sales because I was very introverted, And I just thought like there's something about enrolling, claiming your power to be persuasive was important to me. It's like, okay, I think this is going to be important to my life. So I got into copier sales for a couple of years, 2.5 years, I believe it was. And, I was very well liked in a company because I was very much that inspirational type of person, but I wasn't great at sales because I could care less about copiers. I just did enough to be able for them to say, yeah, okay, we'll keep you, whereas a lot of other people didn't last. So went back to school, got my master's in clinical psychology. So that's one of my primary certifications, if you want to call it, I call it a certification, right? But I got that, but I was seen as deficient by my professors in certain ways. Like, again, you're awkward, you're different, you ask too many questions, you're kind of a troublemaker because you ask too many questions. You're upsetting our egos is how I looked at it. But so I didn't think I did anything wrong, but anyway, they had issues. Um, and they also pointed out that I had a gift. They noticed that I was able to assess people in a way that was uncanny. That was unusual, and my classmates recognized it too, and some of them would come to me to review their cases. And one of them was one of the top students in the class. I said, "Why are you coming to me? You're a top student. You're even got better grades than me." Oh, but some people just know things. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So it's just kind of coming to me that I had some sort of, gift or something. I just still didn't understand it at all. And then eventually I got fired from my first job right out of my master's degree to confirm that maybe you're no good. You can't do any of this work to help people, right? Because they said you don't fit in here, right? Which is kind of always a repetitive theme, the idea that I didn't fit in. Then I started working with the chronically mentally ill, and I fit in just right. I started realizing when you're doing the right thing with the right people in the right ways, you can thrive. So much so that within a short period of time, within just a couple months or something, it was a short period of time, another company hired me away from that company. So they had a need, they liked me, and I got a big, at the time, what felt like a big raise. And so I was there for a number of years, and the clients loved me because I didn't follow the usual protocols a lot. I would just tune into them or just presence them, and it was very validating for them, very supportive for them. And I started learning about metaphysics, became a practitioner of science of mind. So that's sort of another certification I have. So you listen to people, you do prayer for them. That's where my prayer works got started. And then I got into hypnosis and hypnotherapy and private practice and all that. So did the certification stuff there. And yeah, I just started realizing like how tapped in I could become. That so much so that I just felt like I could melt into the walls, just kind of almost disappear. I could have fun little healing, like have a cut on my finger, just flip it this way and back the other way, and the cut's gone, things that if I try to duplicate today, I might not be able to duplicate necessarily on command. But I was in a state at that time that was particularly different and elevated, not all those things I could do like on command all the time now, but it is something my being wanted to experience. It's like, oh, wow, I know there's something beyond like what we're told is this reality. So I started experiencing things like that, fixing cars without going to mechanics, all kinds of interesting things. And but I was struggling in the business. I got an online business in 2006 to help people as a coach primarily, but also as a healer. And started to harness this and ability I had to tune in. And I started, asking like, how can I harness this gift? Because I started, popping into people's energy fields and, literally feeling like I was directly in their energy field. That was the experience I had. And so I was like, okay, well, that's a little bit too much. I don't need to go into people's energy fields that deep. How can I work with this gift? I had an experience then around that time period. I put my third eye in a crystal skull at a fair, and the guy just said, "Hey, put your third eye on there." And all of a sudden, I had a sense of knowing like everything. Like I felt like I'm connected to everything. I know everything, and it was very powerful. But my sense of like being separated kicked in right away, and it's like that can't be real, right? And boom, 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 it goes away. And then I asked my guides, like, how can I replicate this so I can utilize it on a consistent basis to serve other people? And then this energy scan technique was born then, a method of really being able to take this ability I feel we, all of us have to a degree, almost, all of us have at some level, I would say almost universally, but our ability that we have to tune in and use our intuitive and psychic gifts. And so this technique allows me to, um, be fast and be able to read people if I want to do it that way, but also to focus and to go deep, to be precise, more precise. Also, if I take, if I take some time with it, sometimes it takes a little time to tease things out, but it's a powerful technique is the bottom line. And over the years, I've taught other people this technique, and I've taught, hundreds of people directly to do it. And with very few exceptions, there's some people that are really stubborn and be able to take on the process sometimes, but like my last class, like I had 92%, like right away they could do it and they're blown away. Like, whoa. But for the other people, they also can do it almost every single case as long as they keep practicing, right? Practice is always the key with these things. But like 92% like could do it right away. That's a pretty good hit rate, right? Now they get the other people, if they will stay with it, I've seen again and again, eventually it starts dropping in. It drops in more and more, they're able to do it. So anyway, but you can use these gifts to deepen your healing, deepen even your coaching, and then also you can use it as something you offer first to connect with somebody first, before they hire you, and point out like what's going on for them, and then for them to work with you on the things that came through, and maybe more, maybe there's other opportunities that emerge in your conversation. So it's an extremely powerful tool to help people and also to gain new clients. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my background in a nutshell. I've been doing energy scan training probably since like around 2010, and I don't have like walls and walls of certifications, but I have a lot of experience doing energy scans and energy scan healing, etc.
I have several questions that I was writing it down right now.
Yes, sir.
And the first question that I wrote, it is, I know as a psychologist, more in United States, they have so many rules and regulations. So their hands are tied to actually help. They can help you to a certain extent, but that's why, in a way, when you go to a psychologist, you can be with them for years and years and years and years and years, and maybe you're going to have success, maybe you don't,
Mm-hmm.
for those exactly those reasons, because the laws, how
Mm-hmm.
they're managing here in United States, because each country it is different. I come from Mexico, and the psychologists in Mexico are very different. They're more hands-on, more than medication.
Mm-hmm.
And in United States is medical industry is one of the biggest businesses in United States.
Right.
So, and I can understand, and I know, in fact, many psychologists in the United States that they drop their license and became a coach because they have less rules and regulations and they can go to the success more faster.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you have noticed that, and
Mm-hmm.
because you mentioned that you study psychology, and so you have but you still in that branch, in the psychology branch, do you still have your license, or you became a
No.
coach, so drop the rules and
I dropped
regulations
it.
of the
I dropped
system?
my license for probably a few reasons, but one of them was the reason why I didn't like the therapy route was some of the things you're kind of mentioning, the slowness at which the transformation happens often with those processes, not always, it can be fast. But also, you had to label people. You had to say, "But here, because I get it. You're trying to come up with a system to try to understand people, and you have to have a diagnostic code and all this stuff. So, but I didn't really, I always thought like there's a lot more to what we're seeing than a diagnostic code. What's really going on for the people? I don't care, this is very because people say, oh, well, they're bipolar. Okay, immediately you have an image of who they are, right? Like you assume so many things about them, and it kind of stops your consciousness from really seeing who they really are, right? You're schizophrenic, okay? Your mind stops instantly on this concept, right? So that's why I don't really like the labeling. That's a big reason why I got out of it. And plus, without the license, I'm not subject to any their laws, their regulations, and all the, stuff that, is probably some of it's good, right? Of course, but some of it's not so great and it's stifling. So yeah, I was licensed at one point as a counselor, but I did let that go a long time ago.
Yes, in the United States, the pharmaceutical industry is the one that dictate all of these kind of rules and regulations because that's their business.
Yes,
And
yes.
if the person is going to take antidepressives the rest of their lives, they're having an income the rest of the life of the person that is needing them, and so on for any kind of medication, mood stabilizers, etc., whatever it is they're
Mm.
taking. And I feel that in many of the hospitals, like you mentioned, that you told when to the psychologist or the psychiatrist that hey, I can channel, I can do this and that, I can I'll just move and this and that.
Mhm.
And that's how many mental hospitals are filled with people. Now, many of those patients, they might not even be crazy. They're
Right,
just different for the social norms,
right, right.
correct?
Yeah, I mean, I worked with a lot of them. Like I said, I worked with they call the chronically mentally ill, the ones that are, got all kinds of, my experience. I didn't know what I know now back then when I was working with them, but yeah, they're picking up on, different energetic beings often. They're picking up on things that are fragmenting them, but they're very open. They have an open channel, a lot of them, to energies. Now, if somebody could help them to release, some of the harmful dynamics of some of the things they're caught up in, we're able to help them harness or channel in some of those cases. Like they could be master healers, I mean, I know that now, but I sure didn't know it then. To clear energy that they brought forth from other dimensions or other lifetimes, etc. There's so much ways they could be treated in other ways that could be very helpful or very transformative for them. I'm not in that business, but I do occasionally get people to come to me that have some of a kind of a background in mental health issues, even some more severe things we would call more severe like that. But yeah, they're filled with very tapped in people. There definitely are quite a few there. I think it'd be a misnomer to say that they're all tapped in, but I would say that yes, some of them are very tapped in, and they just need help dealing with the energies that are, kind of suppressing them. But then, what makes it worse is they put them on medications,
Yeah.
and now they have even more problems in some ways, while they're also so-called more stabilized. We got them stable. That's always the goal with the chronic event. We got to get them stable so they can function. I get it, right? So they can fit in to our usual, way of functioning in the society. But these type of people, sometimes I'm sure were considered the shaman of their tribe and whatnot, in other civilizations, past in history, and whatnot. But yeah, it's a travesty that we see it the way we do. And you're right, the pharmaceutical companies are all part of the racket on so many levels. But and it's like, okay, you got to be a certain way. We control that. Well, that's the thing with the licensing too. Once we license you, we can control you more, right? Now
And
you're under regulation. Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why to coaches and healers, we cannot get an insurance pay for us because they're
Mhm.
not going to be making so much money in the industrial pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
So that's why they're giving pay for our therapies or sessions that we're doing to people.
Mhm.
But well, you also mentioned that you could do things faster before, and like you were seeing in a way kind of magic doing it in
Mhm.
act, and
Mhm.
then it went down. Why
Mhm.
was that?
Well, not with everything, but I would just say, like, with some of the things I was playing, I probably could still experience those things if the way I see it, okay? I think when you're interested in something and the moment's right, everything's possible. So I was interested in experience as a being at that time. Like, especially the thing with the cut on my hand. Like, I cut my hand today and I try that trick. I feel like I was just trying to play a trick. But if it was authentic to my soul to want to experience that at this time, like they would happen. It was authentic to my soul. Now there's a little bit more to it than that, but that is a portion of it in my experience. I was just talking about even just the basic manifestation stuff with one of my clients. We went to a restaurant, the food, there wasn't stellar, wasn't perfect. Had too much salt on the steak. I do eat meat actually. But so we talked about complaining, we could get a free meal and all this stuff, but our egos was just talking about that, right? So at the end of the day, I did mention it to the waiter, but I did not try to get anything for free or anything like, we can work this for a free meal or something, because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. But I get free food a lot when I go out just because it feels fun to receive. So automatically I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll have the lobster. If I'm just coming out with theoretical, it's just have it so many different ways. And then, but I was thinking the whole time I want a steak. They'll bring me the steak and they'll say, oh, and I'll be like, that's not what I ordered. I ordered a lobster. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll go get you that too. Like then I get both. So like things like that happen all the time. There's so many different magical things that I'm still have access to that still interests me, right? So like being able to tune into people psychically is enormously interests me still, because I'm in a strong commitment to that. So yeah, I just still teach people how to do such things, but that one thing really, like the cut on the hand thing, like I don't know if I could duplicate that today is my point. I would like to say I can, but if it was my ego trying to make it happen, it's not going to work. It has to be in that kind of playful flow for me. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to really be available in my experience. Only can share my experience.
Something that I've been reading people since I was a little girl. I did not knew that I was connected to the Akashic since I was a little girl. I just asked why this person, I don't trust them, and they just boom, immediately I have all the file and etc. But something that I do notice that there are some people that you cannot read, that they have like a blockage or protections. I don't know what it is,
Mhm.
but you just cannot read. Why is that? Some people are so easy. They're open book, literally.
Right.
And some people they're just you just can't read.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I know you've been doing this for a very long time as well, but after doing thousands and thousands of energy scans, what I could tell you is that in the beginning there were certain people that almost seemed, yeah, close to impossible to read in any depth. But after doing thousands of them, I can say it really doesn't matter, how open or closed your system in terms of me being able to still see through that and still be able to talk about you. Now, the person is really close may not resonate with what I say anyway. They'll be like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know, but they tend to be more analytic and, I don't know about that. But I don't come across many of those people because of who I'm serving, right? But, if I were to, I'm sure I'd still run into that. But yeah, you're right. There are some people that are way easier to read than others. And that's true for me too, where it just comes easier. There's an easier flow and whatnot. And I just think, for some people, they've got such, protection around their energy because they're probably various factors. But like one of them I just did recently, I struggled a little bit with it, was somebody who's very successful and he's extremely focused, right? He's going to totally crush his business and what he's supposed to do, right? Because he's doing big, big things. And but at the same time, he's feels very vulnerable inside. So once I start going deeper, even though he's looking for that, there's some guards there, because if I were able to say, and I see this weakness or whatever, I'd be like, oh no, you don't, So there's various factors from people's past. Again, it always comes often from past lives, this life, but like these guards come up to protect them. And then when those guards are up, other people that used to maybe manipulate them in different ways energetically, they've shut their energy so that, they're protected, or something shuts it down, right? However you want to look at it, but something's shutting it down, and it can seem like it's harder. And then there's people maybe like yourself or other people that are like, all right, I've got techniques to make sure you can't read me or whatnot, but I've learned but I know better. I'm not subject to that all the time because I'm able to go beyond that. I'm able to go beyond that and still be able to read them, even if they said, no, I set it up, I'm skilled at this. I'll be like, yeah, whatever. I don't go by that. I don't go by that agreement. Unless you don't want me to read you. But I've had people test me, is my point. See if you could read me when I put the guard on. All right. Like, yep, I could still read you. It might throw me off for half a second because I'm like, oh, what are we dealing with here? And then I still can read them. So there's different reasons why it happens. Usually it's because their energy is guarded for some reason.
Hi everyone, this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love. And if you have been feeling stuck where you are right now, or if you have felt that you cannot connect with others in the same language or the same emotions that you're feeling, if you're a coach, a healer, energy worker in any of those branches, maybe this is for you. Because we have felt the disconnection for the rest of our family, friends, that we cannot connect to them. And we're so afraid to actually go deep dive when we're getting triggered by our own clients because we're seeing our mirror image with them. My name is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love, and that's my spiritual name. And I take clients from feeling confused and feeling stuck to feeling free, to feeling that they feel empowered from themselves. I created a system, Path to the Heart, that goes in 3 levels. And the first level, it is healing the inner child, healing the parts of us that we've been so afraid, or it's very painful to do it. I have done it myself, not only with me, and I have done it with many, many of my clients, that I take them to this process. The second level, it is to go more into inner self, clearing the family lineage, to breaking the contracts and vows, learning deeper more about the laws of the universe. And the third level, it is learning how to channel, how to do waking up your and getting online your gifts, unique gifts that the world so much needs right now. So if you wanted to know more about this, I am eager to show you and to teach you all what I know that I use every day in my life. So thank you for being here in this page. I really appreciate it. And this is Monica Ramirez, the Warrior of Love. I do notice that sometimes I get asked, oh, that person is doing this or wanted to do this or wanted to read this or wanted to, like, do you give permission? Like, yeah, or not. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
troubles or open my the reading or whatever it is. Why? Like, no, I don't want these people be reading me. So I need actually my tube and you put it on. That's because I am very sensitive. And more in our industry, that there's a lot of openness and closeness at the same time in our industry, in the spiritual community. That's the industry
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about. That there are some
Mm-hmm.
people that have good intentions to others, but there's also they have not done the shadow work. So they steer in the competition and the envy and all those kind of things. And those are the ones that you have to put the shield up
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately we're still humans.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and even if we get trained in in different aspects, Reiki, whatever you want to put it, they did not teach you how to do the shadow work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And doing the shadow work, you're gonna have competition, envy, guilt, shames, fears, etc., etc., name it,
Mm-hmm.
because they have not done the shadow work.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
those are the ones that are gonna have good or bad intentions to other people
Mhm.
because of the ego, like you were mentioning.
Right. Yeah, you see, I think we all have our different lane. For me, there have been some people that are have some of the issues you're talking about coming in, but often what I find is that's not true for some reason, probably because of my intentional field. I'm drawing in the people that have usually done a lot of work on themselves. And so they tend to be ready to, start learning how to tune into people right away. I would even say people with the shadows stuff, like they can do the tuning in. Whether, you know, it's debatable, it's something we could debate, but like it's debatable if they should, right? And I know your philosophy a little bit, but um we have infinite gifts. We're able to tune in. We have that whether we have shadows or not. We have the ability. Now, whether we should use that to help other people into healing or not, that's another question. But we all have the ability to tap in, even when we have blocks, even when we have shadows, no matter what's going on, we still have the ability. It's still there. Now, clearing some of those things can open you more and make it easier, but for sure, 100%. But it doesn't mean you can't do it today. You know, I just want to be clear about that part as well. But yeah, definitely, you know, we got to do our own inner work. I agree.
I saw that in the bio that you sent me that you're co-author in a book called Waking Up Life, the life that you love, living in abundance. And
Mhm.
that's something that right now with economy worldwide, everybody's asking for abundance. And but apparently you mastered that technique, like having free food and things like that. So do you have some tips to the viewers how they can, of course, we're going to be talking about your program and your classes
Sure.
that you have, but just some tips so like that they can start practicing today and they start changing their life experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the book is amazing because, and I don't make any money from the book. I mean, unless you buy it directly from me, I don't make any money from the copies that are bought out there. So, but you know, what's amazing about the book is that although there are the famous people in there, Wayne Dyer and Michael Beckwith, Anthony Robbins, etc., um, there's also a lot of people that are more what people would say, oh, they're everyday people. You know, there's a lot of people that were included in that book as well in that regard. But they've done, some of them done some really incredible, remarkable things. Like the one story I always remember from the book that I always like to reference is someone who decided to take a trip, like I believe it was across the country, after losing her job or something like that, and she had no idea how she would do it, but she was committed to it. And no matter what, she just felt like it was right, you know, like she had that sense, like this is abundance to me, basically. I mean, this is feels aligned, like I was saying before with the flip of my handbag. Before that felt like abundance at the time, felt connected, right? And it's the same thing, like the stories in there keep helping to show you this is how things can work more easily for you rather than ego, manipulation, control, whatnot, or fear of shutting down, staying in your old patterns, keep doing the same thing to try to just get by, try to survive, right? Rather than be in abundance. But when you allow yourself to trust abundance, guess what? Abundance trusts you because not that it needs you to trust, otherwise you're not accepting it, you're not letting it into your life. I mean, it's that simple. Like if you don't go out in the ocean to get into the waves, you're not going to have, you know, any waves taking you into a new experience, right? I mean, it's kind of like that. Like you just, you know, I don't trust the water, I'm not going in it, right? But so if you're willing to trust, you know, there's abundance. If you can get past the scarcity mind and start trusting abundance more, you don't have to totally trust it, but trust it more. And also, you know, receiving abundance in all its forms, including financially, you know, you'll start seeing more of it coming in, right? So I'm gonna start trusting using my divine gifts and receiving money to help people with them, which is a big one for a lot of folks still to this day. It's huge. We're still breaking through on that one. There's been so many ideas about that and so many lifetimes, but so we're breaking through all these things. You have to just trust, to lean in, and trust what your soul is guiding you into that feels abundant, and get beyond your mind's concepts of abundance. You know, I highly recommend that for people on the awakened path. You know, if you're like, well, abundance to me must mean 10 million in the bank, but it's all in your head, you know, that's probably not it. It's probably not it. Okay. Maybe there's something in it, but it's probably not it. But if you just kind of get a feeling like, yeah, I think I'm gonna, I don't know. I feel like I want to create something amazing that reaches so many people. I'm going to become a billionaire as a result. And it just feels natural and fun and connected. There's probably something in that for you. That's probably something for real in it, you know? And that's what you want to follow, those waves of downloads and understandings and insights that feel connected. You keep following that connected path. That is the abundance. That is literally the abundance itself. It's not in the material and the money and everything. Like that just comes with it, as we know, right? It just comes with it. But first it comes with just following that connected path. And then all the money stuff, that kind of just flows with that.
So we were talking about the emotion. First, to go to the emotion, not about the money. It's like how the $10 million will make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not the
Right.
money in the bank. Is the emotion that you will feel if you have the $10 million in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, totally. I mean, like one small story is just my client was flying back from a VIP, had some hip issues, had been flaring up on him, but we were focused on business stuff. We weren't focused on healing his hip. We were focused on other, do mostly business. So anyway, we're focused on that aspect. But he had this hip thing, and he was flying back. He was on his way back to Vegas. He lives in Denver, and he just kept coming to him the intention, the feeling in his field of like, it'd be great to go see my chiropractor and go get a haircut. It'd be great to, he kept repeating it because he kept feeling it, right? They kept repeating it and it kept feeling like what that would feel like. That would feel so good. What happened is he landed down. They says, well, we have a 5 hour layover, before your next flight. There was an issue that came up. And he parlayed that into going the next day instead because he wanted to go see his chiropractor and go to the barber. So he literally just kind of manifested on the fly because it felt good. He leaned into what felt good. He didn't try to force and control it or try to make it happen. He just kept being with that would be great. I would love to experience that. And that's what I see for myself and others is when you're just in a state of like, I would just love to experience this. I have absolutely no attachment, but that would be a great thing to experience, that is one of those magical ways of manifesting that now it is purely effortless when you do it that way.
Now, tell us a little bit about you're a creator of energy scan training and an intuitive business coach. But tell us about the scan training that you're having, the one that you created, what it is and what they're going to achieve with it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So the energy scan training again is been, again, I've taught hundreds of students how to utilize their intuitive and psychic gifts to tune into other people, into their seven major chakras, their purpose, their core wounds, their past lives, this life, anything really. But I train on those first things that I mentioned primarily during the training to get started and just generally be able to channel and know things about people. You'll be able to pick up on what happened, just potentially like what happened when they were 8 years old or this, that, or whatever, important insights, or maybe something comes down that, into your awareness for them that just can change their life, like a certain word you say, or you get a feeling something's coming up ahead for them. You're helping them to acknowledge and to see and to feel. So anyway, so you unleash those gifts that maybe you've always sensed you've had. And I would say you have to, know you have some intuition first for this type of training to really work well. Otherwise, you're going to be one of those 1 to 5% or whatever, 8% at the most people that might come to me that are like, well, we know you can do it, but it's going to be a longer road for you, which is fine if you're up for it. But the people that can do it right away already know they have an intuitive sense, and they usually they have a feeling sense. May not always be their primary sense in their own opinion, but they have a feeling sense on things. They do really well with this training. So the first day they learn how to do it. They can read people's energies. They can tell them all about what's going on with them, and they're able to do a portion of that right away, right to the first day of the training. Now, I'm not saying it's some profound, deep level yet, but right away they can do it. And then the second day, I teach them how to do energy scan healing, how to use that to deepen in and do healing the way I teach it, which I teach it in different ways, but they're, a specific basic technique they get. And then also you learn how to enroll people into your services. It's so fun to offer energy scans and then, do the scanning and then have people be like, wow, I would love to get help from you because you know what's going on with me. You picked up on this past life or this entity or energy that's on me or whatever. And then you can use your healing techniques to clear it. Recently someone who was working with me, I picked up on some kind of I'm not usually an entity person that's constantly picking up on entities, but I picked up on one with her. We cleared it, and she just told me, like, just so many new things started coming into her life as a result of it, like new opportunities, and just a sense of her channel opening up, like more connected than ever before. And she said she tried so many things, but after she got the energy scan healing, that now she's got access to things that she didn't have access to before. So it can, that's the thing, it can be deep, it can be powerful, it can work fast. I'm not going to lie to anybody and say like it works, everything works 1,000,000% of the time. Like I always say, like, forget people that's, like try to disprove psychics and say, well, you're not 100% all the time or whatever, like on everything to the detail. Like, forget that. All right. Some people get paid a lot of money to hit a ball and get a base hit 30% of the time, right? But you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous that there's such a high standard that we should know everything all the time, but it's almost that good,
But it's
once
not
you
even
really
science. In
cultivate your
science,
gift.
but not even in science. In science, they
Yeah.
have a percentage that it might be an error.
Right.
And that's science.
But people want to throw out people want to throw out, that this is real for so many reasons. Number one, again, control, and why I am so passionate about everybody, learning how to do this. I'm just starting with the healers and the coaches. I sense anyway that I'll probably expand that to many more people, over the years ahead. But we need it because it's going to be easier and easier to try to, although we're awakening, like at the same time, in some ways, it's going to be easier and easier to fool people and try to trick them. And then people figure the next trick out and the next trick. But like when you're tuned in, then you don't have to be as concerned. Like as long as you keep using that gift, you'll know what's going on. And you'll be able to shift things for the higher good of everybody, yourself, your family, your communities, the world. And you can make a great living out of doing it too, doing healing and coaching work. I have people that come in and have no experience with any of that, coming at the end of training and are leaning into the idea of having a business, doing energy scanning, energy scan healing, maybe coaching, right? They're perking up for that right away. And I have people that already have established businesses that come in and want to add it to their business, even very successful businesses sometimes. So that's basically the training. You're going to learn more about sales and how to do sales. Everybody, oh my God, sales, as long as we don't have to do sales. But you learn how to just help people say yes to themselves and do it in a way that is connected and works for you, but is also is effective, to deal with different curveballs that people give you. I can't afford it, I guess, and that. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, right? You have to be able to discern that and help encourage people, take a stand for people if you're meant to, and how to package your services. Who should you serve? We touch on those things even during the training.
So your program is going to start in July 21st, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the program that you're going to be having very soon?
Yeah, so it's July 21st and 22nd, and it goes from 9 to 6 p.m. Central. And we have people, around the world that have taken this training. So even people in Australia, have taken that training before. So no matter what time zone you're in, I find like if you're feeling like you're called to this training, you're going to join anyway. So, but yeah, the value is just incredible. Like I'll just say this, and I'll share some more things here about that training. But the consistently people are just like, oh my God, like to the training, or whoa, it's so helpful, it's so extremely helpful. And they're so in a wow state about that they have this ability that they can do it too. It's not just others, these psychic people and stuff, that they can do it too. And
I
even
have a,
people that consider themselves very intuitive and psychic often very, very value because it grounds them. It's a very grounded technique, and it also helps you to focus.
I was going to ask you
It
this.
helps you to
I know
focus your.
I know that you're going to the training that you're going to have, the program that you're going to have, it is open to anyone that wants to take it. You might find some psychics in there. You can have some coaches, and you're going to have people that they're just going to use it for maybe the curiosity, like you said. maybe they do are psychics, maybe they don't because they have never worked on that area. So you're
Right.
going to have the two people in the same program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, for some that they have more practice, it is going to be easier than the other ones. How
Mm-hmm.
you're going to handle the two kinds of people in there, the
Mm-hmm.
ones that require more attention than the ones that require less attention to teaching the same thing.
Yeah, I would say pretty much 92, again, 92% of them, it's really easy. My solo instruction to them, and I don't let the group get too big is the other secret. You know, on an online format, if it's in person, I could probably bring assistants in and we could do a much bigger group. But online, it feels more unwieldy to me anyway. So I'm really only targeting up to about 20 people per round, at the most, you know, that'd be maximum. Because otherwise it just gets to be and the people are sensitive. So if we bring more and more energy in, it can be more harder to focus. So, because they're usually pretty open people already. So I keep them smaller. That's one of the ways it's really successful. But for the few people that come in and maybe are having extra challenges, like the last time it was just one person, but what we did is we just, you know, we have I have assistants, you know, with me, usually just at least one, and that assistant will give extra time and attention to someone that's struggling and help encourage them and give them the extra support that they need. Everybody else, like they don't need a tremendous amount of support, even if they've never done it before. They're not as, you know, readily accessible to this sort of thing. They still can do it and they're able to do that. And then even though it's a 2-day training, of course, I offer to some of the people if they want to some more help after that. But there's plenty of people that just go running with it. They're able to do it.
Now, I know you're also a business coach, and that is going to be integrated in the same program, or that is going to be a separate training for them.
Yeah, I do some of the business coaching. I just mentioned that briefly earlier, but people may have questions about their business and what they're going to do next with it. And what now we do some of that in training. Sometimes I'll do even some follow-up with them. I'm very generous. You know, I'll follow up with them, even maybe have a one-to-one meeting with them with no extra cost. And you know, just what I've done so far, I don't promise at every training because I don't know what the next training will be like, but I follow up to make sure that we have a plan for success. Like, what are your next steps with using this training? How will you be implementing it? How will you be making the most of it for you? So I make sure that it gets customized for them in that way. Because you know, I you know, it's at this point, like, you know, I just how I've always really been. I don't want to just do a mass training and then, oh, go figure it out on your own. And there's no customization. There's no like follow up to help people, you know what to do with it. So, so I kind of see when people come into my training that I'm with them kind of for life. It doesn't mean I give them unlimited support and services, but after the training, but you know, I always feel like I'm going to keep reaching out to them. I'm going to keep checking in with them. How is it going with your energy scans, you know, and how's it been going overall? And so, yeah, there's a lot of support is one of the things people always said through the years that I provide a very high level of support versus what a lot of people experience in this type of industry.
Wow, it is very, very interesting. So basically, if they want to develop more their gifts that they have and learn
Mm-hmm.
how to not only activate them, use them, and to create a business with it. That's what it
Exactly. That's my jam. Because I tried to separate it out before, just do business or just do energy scanning or whatever. And it's always like when I bring the two together that I feel most connected. I feel most alive. And it's in my hands too. Last hand analysis I got, he said that's what he said. And it was before these latest energy scan trainings I'm doing once again now, but it says you're meant to help people claim their gifts and build, you know, prosperous businesses doing it.
I like that. Oh, it's been really, really my pleasure, Daniel, to have this conversation. I'm, guys, if you're interested in his program that he's going to be having in July 21st, the description and the link is going to be down below this video. So like that, you can get a hold of him and register in that program that is going to start very, very soon. And Daniel, do you have something else that you would like to say before we finish?
Just recognize that one of the funny things about the training, getting back to the training for a second, is that, yeah, I can't tell you how many people join the training expecting they will not be able to do what I say that they'll be able to do, but they want to try anyway. And then when they can do it, they go, "Oh my God, I actually can do it. I didn't think I'd be able to." So I just want to encourage people that, yes, don't just sign up. If you're like, I have zero intuition, I have very little intuition, I have no intuition. Yeah, I don't want you to sign up for a training like this. But if you have some already, but you really have no confidence, or very, you're really shaky on the confidence of being able to deeply tune into people, trust me, you'll be able to.
Yes. But if you really want to do something, you just have to put your heart in it, and you will succeed in that.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yes, and I bet that if they sign up in that program, it is because they want to. Unless
Right.
unless you have one student like mine that she registered in a channeling class with me, and then it's like, I don't want to channel. Like, when why you register in a class of channeling?
Yeah, you tricked me. I didn't know this was about channeling.
It was mastering channeling, the name of the class.
I think you should be more clear, Monica, in your marketing.
Yes. So the people that usually we are gonna be attracting to our programs are gonna be people that supposedly would be open to learn about their own magical gifts that we
Right.
all have possess. We just have to or activate it or learn how to use them.
Yes.
And this is a very good practice. This is a good program that you're gonna be having. And I invite everybody, because I know we all have magical gifts. Everybody have them. We just need to activate them and know how to use them. It's the more that we go to in life, there are different games that we're needing to learn how to play them. Like, you're not gonna sit down in a poker game without knowing the rules of it. So it is important that we know about the rules, how to you can use them in your own benefit. And this is gonna be for your own benefit. Thank you, Danny, for doing this so much. It is so needed right now in these times. Thank you for your job. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank you, Monica. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be on today.
and thank you for everybody for watching it. If this helped you, please share it with your friends. They might find it interesting too, and they might want to develop their own gifts. So please share it and give us a like, and don't forget to comment. Well, that will help us a lot in the algorithms. Thank you so much. This is Monica Ramirez, and thank you for being in Soul Talk.